I will start this video with an example from my personal life. It was about 13 years ago when I was in a slightly more stressful period of my life. I traveled by bus and suddenly, out of blue, I started to feel, to put it mildly, weird. I felt a rapid pulse and strong anxiety with a feeling of shortness of breath. My first reaction was to get off the bus. However, the next stop was not so near, and I suddenly felt trapped, out of breath, with dizziness and a sense of losing my mind, so to speak. I looked around and saw a half empty bus. Means enough oxygen for all of us, and although I knew rationally that it was just a panic attack, the theory did not give me much hope at the time. This will only be understood by people who have had panic attacks in their lifetime. But I was still at an advantage because I was already familiar with the procedures that needed to be put into practice now. I remember the breathing technique, deep and slow. I focused on relaxing the body, and what is very important, I turned my attention to something else to avoid the increase in fear and its consequences. I took my cell phone. I didn't have a cell phone with internet access at the time, so I read old messages from my inbox. In a few minutes, I felt much better and I was proud of myself for surviving. So you can do it too. Stay with me. Hello and welcome to the new video. In this video, I will talk about the panic attacks and how to deal with them. A panic attack is a sudden feeling of a very strong fear or a feeling of discomfort that brings with it a series of psychosomatic symptoms. Panic attacks manifest similarly to bodily reactions to real danger, although it does not exist in such cases. They can occur in situations that the person is already afraid of, but can also occur without a visible cause. Well, once a panic attack occurs, irrational fears or phobias about the situations that led to the attack can develop. Such fears and such phobias can greatly affect the way of life. People often try to avoid all such situations and places, which makes life very, very difficult. Frequent panic attacks, at least once a month, can turn into panic disorders. They most often occur in women between the ages of 30 and 50 and in men between the ages of 20 and 40. Common symptoms that accompany panic attacks are tachycardia or arrhythmia, rapid heartbeat or irregular heartbeat, strong anxiety, sweating, rush of heat, sometimes a feeling of suffocation, lack of air, weakness, dizziness, blurred vision, a sense of losing the mind, fear of death. People who suffer from panic attacks and disorders cannot predict when the next attack will occur and are very worried and live in fear of the next same situation. How to alleviate panic attacks? Breathing exercise. Proper, deep, and slow breathing. Tension of muscles in your body. Sit down, tense all your muscles, and stay tense for as long as possible while holding your breath. Then relax, take a deep breath, and repeat until the panic attack subsides. Changing your environment. Well, this is often the fastest way to alleviate a panic attack. And mindfulness, being in the present moment instead of being in the past or in the future. How to control panic attacks. What is important to know is that panic attacks are physically harmless. They can be controlled with medication and relaxation methods. If you find yourself in a panic attack situation, then repeat to yourself, nothing terrible will happen. To successfully overcome panic attacks, you need to face the fear itself and then get to know all the symptoms that accompany it and learn to control them. Visualize your fear. Visualize these events that trigger panic attacks. Recognizing the causes that lead to panic attacks will make it easier to control them. For example, if panic attacks occur before performing in front of a large group of people, there is a possibility that they occur due to insecurity or fear that we will say something wrong. In situations where you know the cause of panic attacks, you will be able to act on it in the following ways. Imagine the worst possible situations, all in order to see that it's not so terrible. Take the example I mentioned. If you have fear that you will say something wrong in front of a large group of people, imagine, what if you say something wrong? Really, what's the worst that can happen? Face it. Exposure helps you overcome panic and send a message to your fear that you are the one that have control over them and not them over you. Following the example from before, you will face it by constantly exposing yourself to that fear, meaning performing in front of large group of people. If a panic attack occurs, breathe slowly and deeply. Relax your muscles. Focus on something else. Seek for professional help. I will see you hopefully in the next video, and until then, leave your comments and ask a question if you will. Bye.